you ain't gonna ask me nothing. That's just like you should have just locked in and just jumped on it straight away. Some people are fucking confused.
I haven't seen, well, the lights ain't turned on, that's why. I think there's once the lights turn on, it should be fine. It's just
Yeah,
like,
I'm just saying for us to be in a shop.
oh, okay. Yeah, let's go.
Alright, Shalom. Start by saying all praise to Yahweh, Bar Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bar Hashem, Harakam, Kadosh. Double honors to the elder apostles and great ones of the world. And Shalom to the whole elect. We're Hebrew Israelites coming every week to prophesy the downfall of this kingdom in accordance with the Holy Bible. Alright? The prophecies written within inside of the Holy Book, the good book. Alright? And to be let the words of the Heavenly Father be known in accordance to the true breakdown of the Bible. Alright, we just had 2 Israelis come up and they were saying, oh, what's this about? You know, where those people? But then when we inquired as to where the tribes were, they said there's no tribes no more. We're all one people. That's what they said. That's what the lady said. I said, but what book is it that establishes who you are? And they actually agreed that it was the Torah, the Bible. Alright? I said, but if that's the case, then where in the Bible does it say that you would be in the land and you wouldn't be no tribes no more? And they didn't, you know, they suddenly couldn't understand.
It was an ancient book.
That's right. It's an ancient book.
It was old, but it's like, you know, we don't need to deal with that. That's
well, that book is that is your foundation of reason as far as why you can be in that land. Without that book, you can't be there. But then it shows you the book is against it. So we're out here to basically let truths like that be known to the masses. Alright? And more importantly, World War III, the mark of the beast, alright? Basically being at sea hip. So all of these different things that people don't know. And main one being we're in the last days. That's why since the pandemic, shit's just getting spookier and spookier. Because the trajectory of this world isn't onwards and upwards. It's spiraling down the drain. Alright? Because that's the only way it's going. This is a transfer of power going on right now. Alright? From one hand to the next. Where you going?
I'll read this. Amos 9:11 says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins and I will build it as in the days of old.
Right, so one of the breaches, what would one of the breaches be? The breach of being not known as the Israelites. Alright, that would be one of the main breaches. Alright, because any breach is anything that goes against. When we deal with the tabernacle of David, that was a time when the kingdom was basically being established, being prepared for King Solomon to take the helm. Alright? So with that being the case, there would have been no breaches whatsoever. They would have knew who they were, they would have knew who their king was, they would have known who their power is, they would have understood all these different things. Alright? But now in this day that we're in, we're so far removed from who we are. Right? And that's in accordance to the prophecy. Right? Deuteronomy 28, where it says we'll discontinue from our heritage that the Most High gave us. That's why now you have so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, that basically none the wiser as far as them being the true chosen of the Heavenly Father. Right? Those imposters down there in the land that were able to occupy the land of Israel under the Balfour Declaration aren't the true Jews, right? They're imposters according to the Bible. When you read Revelation 2:9, 3:9, it breaks down that they're known as the synagogue of Satan, right? Who do lie. So the true Israelites, it says that it will discontinue from their heritage. It even goes as far as to say that basically They're not known in the streets. And you might as well get Hosea, the first chapter as well.
Okay, cool. Go on,
Reading this, what have you got?
because I was even going to say as well, is the key thing was when David was around, all the tribes of them, they each had allocated plots of land. There's you go into Revelation chapter 7, which is what's talking about right at the end. It goes into what? The 12,000 from each tribe. That means there's still separation among the tribes. It didn't say, 144,000 of Israel. They don't really know who they are. It's all just like, nah, it's mainly explicitly, laid out. I'll read on, it says, what, verse 12? That they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord Yahweh, that doeth this. Behold, the days come that the Lord Yahweh, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, the treader of grapes him that soweth seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink wine thereof, and they shall make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith the Lord Yahweh thy power. So we're going to be planted in the land, and no more plucked up. Meanwhile, so how is it that you still, these guys, it's meant to have been fulfilled in, 1948? No, wait, the Balfour Declaration. I think it was
1940. I think it was signed prior to World War II.
Oh, yeah.
World War II was the way that they brought it into effect.
Okay, 1917,
that's what it was.
And then I think 1948 is when they actually got into the land. From then, so why is it now you have Gaza, Trump's having to come in and tell everyone to shift off? He's saying like, yo, America's gonna have to come in, essentially saying boots on the ground in Gaza, so that they can just establish it for as a part of Israel. And then saying like, yo, the Palestinians up there, they said it's almost 2 million, like 1.8, 1.9 million thereabouts. Other countries nearby need to take them on. They're saying like, yo, the Arabs need to take them, Lebanon needs to take them, Egypt needs to take them. They're saying like, yo, you man need to take these guys and get them out. But then they're meant to have the whole land. They're meant to be placed in. So and really it's been done what through first the British Empire set them up there, and then now you got what America overseeing it. They're the ones that are selling them weapons, essentially giving them the backing so they can maintain their place there.
Yes, but not
the other key thing is peace as well. Because that peace ain't there, but I'll read Hosea first. So Hosea 1, I'll start from verse 8. It says, now when she had weaned Leruhamah, okay, no. Yeah, no, I was going to read above, that's fine, yeah. Now when she had weaned Leruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. Then said the Most High, then said the power, call his name lower me, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. Yeah. And that's, lower me. For you are not my people, or no people. That's basically what you have them labeled. And these guys are, claiming to fulfill it, so scattered among, various parts of Europe. But then, again, the core part of it is that you will be brought and placed there by the Most High. It's not something that's going to be fulfilled. There's not a military on the planet Earth that's just going to come together and go, okay, let's get them in some APCs or whatever, or get them on a ship, or get them on a plane and fly them over. And then we'll establish this and we'll say it's thingy. That's really an extension of the American Empire, of the British Empire and then the American Empire. It wasn't something that's established by the Most High. The Kingdom of Heaven is not going to have no British Empire or American Empire. So how is it that they're establishing the Holy Land? says what? Verse 10, it says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in that place where
that goes into the point the lady made, where she said, "Oh, we're all people over there." But the Heavenly Father said that they basically, what did it say? Read it again, please.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea,
Right. Okay.
which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Right. The children of Israel basically is the sand of the sea. That's really talking about the abundance of the sea. But the point being is that if you were the people, you would know, no, this, I'm from this line, I'm from that line. But really, it's more of a thing. Even they don't even understand that there was a lot of land and tribes and things like that. They just think, oh yeah, we're just back in the land. I want to live over there. I want to. No, you would have had a lot of land for your family. That would have been your inheritance. All right.
Well, even with that, those laws applicable to how that inheritance will be managed, which is, you know, Esau's got laws about inheritance. Yeah. Where did he get it from? So it says, cannot be measured nor numbered, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. No, yeah, you are the sons of the living power. There's a need to shift from basically being a no people to them being acknowledged as you are the sons of the living power. But then, what did you have with these people when they went in?
I'm gonna have to stand.
That's like out the entire time. That's the first time I announced. Spirits getting agitated. But then what? You're the sons of the living power. Because that acknowledgement, when you had these guys who claim to be the true Jews go back into the land, then why has you had nations around there talking about how, you know, the Jews left black but came back white?
Well, that's command. That's of Egypt when they were entwined in their war. President of Egypt. That's what he said. So this is well documented. Well, that's the thing is, hey, the victor of history is the person who writes it. Or the victor of war, sorry. Is the writer of history. Yeah. So basically, that's why you have people. Because I forgot what rhetoric I heard the other day. I saw a comic book saying something like, "Oh, if this never happened, the world would be like this." You know, as far as peace or bullshit. But they don't know this man really has only been ruling for the last 500 years. And then during the time of the Greco-Roman Empire. But prior to that, he was a nobody. Right? You had a moment where you had the so-called Indians rule the earth. And everyone bowed before them. No one could chat back to fucking Sanjay. You get holes in you, man. Caprita, like, are you mad? Like, that's the most beautiful woman desired on the earth at one point. Same with Ethiopia. There was a moment you couldn't dare talk to them. Because why? They were the power upon the earth. Right? We had various different nations that one time occupied the throne as far as rulership over the earth. And no one could say anything to them. They dictated everything upon planet Earth. Right? So it felt. And this is the same thing with Esau right now. So white man, it's the same. But this is just it's a new thing. This is just a moment in time, a short moment in time that basically is going to be eclipsed by the reign of the children of Israel. Right? It's going to last for forever and ever and ever. And ever and ever.
Then so this is going to become less and less of a fraction. That's it. As time goes on. I'll read this and I've got something else after. Revelation 20:3. And shall cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seat. You know what? Let me start from verse 2. It says, Revelation 20:2, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up.
Right. Read it again, sir.
Revelation 22, as and laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. And
Right. Laid hold on the dragon. Old serpent. Dragon means serpent. I'm tired. So lucky. I'm actually realizing being here, like, fucking exhausted from that. Go on, read it again, so lucky.
And he laid hold on the dragon, that's old serpent, which
Right,
is
the dragon speaks to what? The Roman Empire, the draconian rulership. Right, that old serpent is going back to the time of Adam and Eve. Right, because all of these, with the Heavenly Father, there's no new thing under the sun. He basically recycles things upon the earth. That's why you have certain narratives play out over and over again with a slight tweak or a slight, when you get to the basis of the whole, it's the same thing playing out over and over again. Right, so when he speaks about an old serpent, he's speaking of the serpent during the time of the Garden of Eden. Right?
And bound him 1,000 years.
Right, so bound him 1,000 years. It's going into the time of the Greco-Roman rulership when Esau, otherwise known today as the so-called white man, because everyone on the earth, this is why a lot of people disconnect with the Bible, because they don't understand that the biblical nationality is written inside of the Bible, harken back, or still exist today, but as time has gone forward, people will rename themselves. Like one country, there's a few things in recent history or recent memory you could show, that's what I was about to say, that show that. Like Iran right now has that name, but known before as what? Persia. Alright? You had Germany was known as, I believe it was even known as Prussia at one point, right?
Yeah, it's Prussia and
East and West Germany as well.
Yeah, East and West Germany.
So you basically
Yugoslavia was a bunch of countries. Even wasn't there a whole uprising in not Portugal, it was in Spain? Or was it Portugal? About that particular region.
Basque region. Yeah. Catalonia.
Yeah,
They want to
yeah.
separate themselves from Spain.
Oh, yeah, Macedonia as well.
Okay.
Because I think Greece and Macedonia were arguing over who gets the name Macedonia.
Okay.
Because they're saying oh, it goes back to Greek, there was a whole back and forth, and people fight wars over these things.
Yeah. So this is why people can't distinguish what the Bible is talking about. But that's why we've been presenting. We're to basically let it be known the secrets of the Heavenly Father. So when we say this people or that people, this thing happened, it's because we can go inside of the Bible and basically break it down and unlock certain prophetic events to certain specific people, right? And that's been done by the Heavenly Father.
And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him.
Right, so that 1,000-year period, we're talking about when the Roman Empire fell, after when you have basically when you had the last of the 12, I want to say it is, with the Flavian dynasty, right? The mission being the last. And then from the onset of them, that's when you had Jake basically get in and take over. That's why you had a recent thing with the so-called black woman from Birmingham. She sat down with archaeologists and historians, and he's basically talking about Septimius Severus, and basically speaking about. Yeah, I know.
That was said recently.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I was like, that's like at least 2-3 years.
Maybe more. It was like during the pandemic.
That's
but
like
yeah,
4 years.
4 years. So like basically they sat down and they spoke about it, and he revealed to her a little known fact to the most of the world that basically Septimius Severus was a so-called black man, a dark-skinned man. Alright? And that's a lot of history that's being hidden from the masses of the people, so they're not privy to these things. There's a great whitewashing iconoclasm that's happened to history. The facing of icons and things of this nature to skew the mindset of the people towards certain people as well. Because now it's going to make you think that we're all, you know, so-called white man ruled over the earth forever. And every time you had the Pharaoh, he was a white man. You had that's funny to say. Yeah. You had the Aztecs, they were white. You had this, that, they were white. That's not how history went, man. Alright? Because during that 1,000-year period, that's what the historians of today call the Dark Ages. Alright? And when if you really want to get understanding of why it's the so-called historians of today call it the Dark Ages, is because Job 30 speaks about the abasement of the Edomites, right? The so-called white man, to where he was dwelling in the caves, right? That's why you get the name Caucasian. Goes back to the Caucasus Mountains and also his cave dweller, right? Because there's no other way you would get that name tag on you if you weren't down there. Like, I'm black British. I don't get that name tag unless I'm black and I'm in Britain, right? So how are you gonna get a tag of a cave dweller if you're not down there in the caves? So that was basically that 1,000-year period where you got a base and put over there, and then after we're going into the prophecy boundary, unless you've got something to say.
No. And set a seal upon him. They should deceive the nations no more.
Right, because that's his superpower, deception. Deception is the superpower of the ruling elite. Right, that's why there's a thing known as, you got various different things within their vocabulary. Filibustering, right? That's something you do when you're in the Senate. If you want to pass a certain law, you're just basically going to go up there and 11 hours straight and just ramble on. But the reason why you're doing that is for deception, right? That's why there's a thing known as legalese, right? Because when you basically want to pass laws or set contracts in place, you basically want to use a language that only people are within the know, that are in the know, are able to break down. So you could basically get one up on the people that are none the wiser. Yeah. I know the biggest one. I've got a few glasses in you know, like the lens, the lens. The biggest.
It takes like this. I think just kind of worn out. Skin and bone. It just get used to your own bone. So it's like
but it's like the lens is like catching it, ascending the air. I feel like it's making my eye water. I check. But yeah, that's the point. So that 1,000-year period is where they basically lock them up and put them the basic, sort of like the story of Nebuchadnezzar, right? Where you got a base for a period of time where he basically was acting like an animal. That's what the Heavenly Father did to a whole nation. Not just one king, a whole nation with kings that pertain to, rulers that pertain to that nation. They came from generation on generation on generation in that state of affairs.
Deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season.
Right, so we're in that little season right now. Because it spoke about being loose for a little season. So there's a time where basically the spirit got taken off of them to be in that state, and they got dusted off and brought up to, you know, upward standing individual. And that's why we're in this kingdom that we're in right now. Alright? So that means what? He's been set up to do what? Deceive the nations once again. Okay?
Yeah, that was a key role that was taken away and now it's been presented back to him. And then you can see as well, if you take like American culture, for example, that's something that's filtered out and it's influenced everywhere in the world you go. You go whatever corner or crack of the world you go to, they're going to be selling Coke. There's probably going to be a McDonald's. There's all kinds of facets and parts of American culture or so-called white culture, resource culture is filtered out to the world. And then tied in with that as well, things like democracy, feminism, these ideas.
I said democracy as well.
Yeah, I think I said that.
Yeah.
Those are like core aspects of that deception.
Hey, but also, that's the reason why he presented at his time. It says, the Most High, in Proverbs 16:4, the Most High made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So basically, that's the reason why he's been presented. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Alright? And only as well, Malachi, the first chapter, about him setting up the border of wickedness for it to be brought down and destroyed. Okay, so this man basically been brought upon this earth to deceive the masses, and a lot of people are none the wiser. Right? They don't know what's going on.
Apparently that's what we did.
So read this as well. Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the Holy One. Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the Holy One, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will. Yeah, you were saying earlier, people don't really have a conception of these different nations once ruled, bear rule, and the same, terror and admiration that people now look at the so-called white people with. That's how they would have looked at, the Babylonians or so-called Ethiopians. They would have looked at the Elam or the so-called Indians. These are the ways that people would have looked at and dealt with them. They would have come in to negotiate something, and then people would have been doing everything in their power just so they could get dealings with the Persian Empire. And that's really, that's something that's granted onto the rule, because as it said in the scripture, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. Whoever's been, set in there at the head of it, that's down to the Most High. That's why, you shouldn't be well up with pride just because you have the rule. And that's something that, regardless of that, always happens. Even with Jacob, Israel, they know the scriptures, and even then, when they had the rule, various leaders got boiled up with pride.
That's why it says Joshua wax back king.
And giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. And even that, setteth up over it the basis of men. And now we're in the midst of that society. You have out here something that society, people think this is one of the greatest times to exist on the planet Earth. But the truth of that fact comes from because the kingdom's that much closer. But people are thinking them being able to live within this society and have their little iPhones and go out and get some MacDs or watch a concert or whatever. These things are some form of greatness that has never existed before.
That's the main point. They don't realize the technology of yesterday. They don't realize how advanced certain things were of yesteryear, millennium, 1,000 years, 100 years ago. There's technology now, from then, that can't be replicated, that they're aware of, but they can't replicate.
Was it Damascus still?
Yeah. Damascus steel, and the folding of steel. There's certain things. Even I see I see a video on TikTok or Instagram, real, where they were showing technology from Victorian ages. They're showing different little things that they could still be used today, but I guess they just got faded. They just become redundant kind of thing.
Well, it's part of it is what planned obsolescence.
But they weren't Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Like they were so good at what they did. There's no pace for them in this
to
time.
release it. Yeah. It's like you saw a guy, well, this is similar like mobile phones. Every year, Apple's coming out with a new phone. Samsung's got a new phone, everyone's got. So that's why planned obsolescence comes in, where things are made to wear down and be broken over time, even if they don't need to be. And that's become a core aspect of how an economy functions underneath ESOL system. The fact that you constantly need growth in sales means that you need a reason for people to go out and buy it. Like if a guy can buy a jacket and that jacket's got him good for the rest of his life, and he basically can just be like, okay, just up me, then you're missing out on like another 20, 30, however many with sales, winners of sales of selling him a jacket you can get, where it wears down, then maybe like 2 or 3 winters later, he's like, I need a new one. Same for shoes, belts, buttons, all, things you wouldn't think about. There's more and more aspects to it. But then people think because you have like these advanced like sewing machines and whatnot, they're like, oh, in the ancient world, blah blah blah, they could have done this. But then there's like looms, there's different forms of technology you would have had there of how people would have engaged with these things. Then you more likely would have got a more robust product as well. It would last longer, it would have a higher quality, it would be a richer, richer textures and whatnot, more vibrant colors. But then it's a matter of efficiency. That's a lot of what these modern technologies are. It's like Tesla and what the hell is the other guy?
Made the light bulb. So
Yeah.
Edison.
Thomas Edison. Yeah. Why was it that Tesla's system of
say Nikola Tesla. They'll think about a car.
Oh yeah, fucking hell, innit?
Yeah,
why is it Nikola Tesla's alternating current? And the thing is alternating current even won out in the long term anyway, because it's just so much better than direct current. But being able to transfer electricity through like the earth, through the atmosphere, and then just not have and interact with it, and not even need like wires, cables, certain things. So then you're missing out on a bunch of cells. How many devices do you have where there's wires in it, where like one wire breaks, then you're like, fuck, you've got to replace the whole thing, or you get in there and get fiddly with it, or you might have one circuit, then like one bit scratches off, one little bit of copper fucks up, then the whole thing's done. But then what? That's where the money comes in. That's where the business, that's where the economy comes in. And that's, these things are the nature of the truth of the ESOL system. Because you go back to the ancient world, you would have been able to have, even with like just owning your own land, having your own house, having your household under your own power. Those are things that now are completely alien. It's been normalized to have a society where ESOL has ultimate say on all aspects of your life.
Let me read this back on. It's the book of Ezekiel 28:2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am the power, I am God, shall I say. I sit in the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten the riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasure.
Yeah, so that wit, that knowledge, that understanding has been given unto you, and it's allowed you to forward a means of, and really the key is what monetized it. That's the core aspect of it. Every aspect of all these different technologies, whenever you're having things developed, why do you have now a subscription-based economy? Whenever you deal with any kind of, it used to be like 10, 20 years ago, not even that far. Let's say 5, 10 years ago, you buy a car, you just get the car. You you know, then you can just do whatever. If you wanna like if the oil is changing, if you need to replace a tire, if you wanna, you know, do some kind of work on it, you can go to any garage and get the shit done. But now the way the cars are set up is where you even need a subscription. Yeah. Because and it's really gone into everything. I'm choosing cars as an example.
No, I know. I'm
Because
saying cars are like that.
Oh, yeah. Because it's with, I remember it was BMW, I think, for the first one, where it was like to get heated seats. It was already built into the car, but then for you to use it, you had to pay a subscription. Then what people started hacking into these cars to get, and then they were upset. So, well, illegally, even by US law, it's illegal to say they don't have a right to tinker with something they buy. But then that's why they shifted to licensing, where instead of buying it to own it, you license it. And that's the thing with like Apple, where they did it with the software, where they're like, rather than you buy, like you used to buy a window, like to be able to buy windows or buy programs, but now you buy a license, which they're basically like, we're gonna let you borrow this to use it for X amount of time. Then you're allowed to do certain things, you're not allowed to do certain things. And then in the laws, it applies differently. But then with a car, it's like something you buy. I don't think those same laws can apply. It might apply to the technology, but I think we're to court and they're not allowed to enforce it, or you can't like hack it or adjust it. Because it's the same thing with like Apple, where they're jailbreaking, and then even, you know, they try to fight against that, but then legally they don't really have recourse. So they just kind of have to do it through their own systems. But then what, it's all these things, why do they want it in their bounds? Because why? Let's them monetize it how they desire. People then have to come back every month or every year and pay again for the same thing they've already paid for. It's like going back, it used to be, like even with PCs, it used to be like every year, because I've been watching like videos just about like the rise of a bunch of the computer companies from like the 70s and 80s onwards. A lot of them would just, they'll like develop a new PC every like 9 to 12 months because the technology was developing that fast. They'll be like, oh, we've gone from a processor that can do twice as much. It can now use more programs, it's got more RAM, it's got more this, more features. But then that hit like a ceiling. So now the monetizing to draw people in, it's like with smartphones. When it used to be like, oh, you go from like the Galaxy S1 or the even going from iPhone 3G to iPhone 4, that shit was legendary. iPhone 4 was like the most legendary phone ever made. Then they went to 5, it wasn't that big of a deal. 6 a bit more. Then afterwards it's like less and less of an increase than what you're getting. Then what? It found out Apple was slowing the phones down. Because why? So people would go back and buy a new one. And that's how this wisdom is being applied. This is why it's a matter. They're called the border of wickedness. Because there's things they can do with that wisdom where you can have it, where you don't need to have people buying a new phone every year. You don't need to have a certain amount of waste. You don't like buy something and then a man can say, oh no, you can't do that. Your car breaks down, your windscreen gets shattered, and they're saying, oh no, you need to go to this particular place to get your windscreen fixed, or else, you know, they'll take you to court and then remove the car from you. But that's how, you know, this wisdom's been applied, and it's been a steady increase in how more and more of these things apply. Because it started with just like Netflix and whatnot, but then even like video games, you get subscriptions. Even with what else? Timeshares, even like holidays as well. Like you owning a few days on a calendar to go to a particular location. Those things exist. It's from why? Because there's always money in it.
We were late, so we only saw 2 hours.
And that's really the root of, or what to say, the root of all evil, the love of money. That's a core weakness, flaw within the Esau system. Or more. I don't know. Isaiah 41, 47 and 1 says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. But thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." And even with that tender and delicate as well, the way people looked at it and like aspired towards America, they did have a mindset, a way they looked at it, where it seemed like it could be the greatest country on earth. Like you go there, there's all the opportunity in the world, all the capability to make what you can out of your life, but then what's the reality of it? And that's what a lot of people found out, even with these migrants. So it's like it's funny, these eras they're talking about where America was the greatest place on earth was when Jake was in hardcore bondage, right? When the Northern Kingdom was getting massacred and getting their land taken. These are the times they're talking about it's the greatest place on earth, which is why it's from its root, its core, it's confused. It don't make no sense because it was built on blood. It says what? "Take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen." And yeah, that's something that even more now, all these things are being exposed. You had the Kennedy files, I think, coming out. Trump was releasing those, and then you've had, especially with the chariots, is the key one I always go to. Because why? You already have what they say the New Jersey drone situation. The New Jersey drones, you know, like the brother said, everything's been getting spooky since 2020. Now your average Joe was just going out there and being like, what the fuck is that in the sky? Like, what's going on? After they declassified all the UFO files, and they're saying, yeah, we've got these different things. We don't know what the fuck that is. So it's you know, if you're an average Joe, you just, you know, you shop at Walmart, and then you go to Arby's. I know, yeah. You shop at Arby's. Sorry, you shop at Walmart. You go to Arby's. What's another American? Or if you're in Canada, you go to Tim Hortons. You know, you go to Starbucks. You get a frappuccino, and you're just living life. Then all of a sudden, you know, you in New Jersey, you're hearing about this drone situation for ages, and people are just like, we don't even know. It's not China, it's not Russia. Then that's why it's suddenly you realize all that you thought you understood, maybe that's not what it is.
Trump didn't come out and say that basically, basically came out and said that it was an experiment by them over there, but man, to say that there weren't no terrorists over there.
Yeah. Because whatever they're doing is regardless, it's chariots as well. Those are dumb been seen anyway, and the signifier of the chariot is what? Is at the end.
As I told you, Zechariah 5th chapter.
So it says what? Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. And yeah, that's again a big aspect of even that technology is what military technology, having aircraft carriers, different forms of aircraft, even having radar communication systems as well. That's a whole aspect. There's that's why you have the term modern warfare. A big aspect of modern warfare is what is satellite positioning, being able to like aim different missile systems and whatnot, utilizing imaging from space and whatnot. There's all these different ways that technology feeds into that military might, to where they're thinking like, how is it, you know, it's hard for us. We're just guys on the street. We ain't got no standing armies. We ain't got no militaries. We ain't got no armaments. We ain't got no weaponries. what we're armed with is the word. But then, again, that's where it comes to the Most High. As far as when you're dealing with the Most High, then, yeah. Because Esau, well, you got it? Really? What state was Esau in before? Now you've got this upstanding guy in a suit talking at the UN, talking from the Oval Office at number 10 Downing Street. But, you know, previously, you go back and then you think, what were these guys doing? These guys were in caves, man. These guys were grunting. They weren't maneuvering like human beings. So if they can get raised up,
He was an animal.
one of the greatest clips of all time.
Crazy. He's an animal.
Yeah, he was in a beast-like state, and then from that beast-like state, now he's what? He's got, you know, he's able to go around the world uncivilized. That's talking about different nations. Yeah. Yeah, that's even like you go to movies, you go to every form of media, that British, even like the villain, some British accent sounding all, oh yeah, smile. It's always a villain. That's one
They're onto something. They try and let you know something. But that's it, because the elites of this world, they're basically stationed over here in the UK, United Kingdom. And they basically utilize, you know, great levels of deception to get one over on the rest of the people. That's why, like, for the most part, America will be the launch pad or like the stage as far as for them to capitalize on and make great leaps and bounds in the world. Right? But not only in America, they're basically prepared to fund any tool. Right? But the point being is that it's being done behind a closed curtain over here in the United Kingdom. Right? Not even in London. Like, you can come to London, you ain't gonna see no elites. They show up in certain spots, but they're all stationed, parked off somewhere in a shire somewhere outside of the city, where you'd be hard pressed to try and find it. Right? You are not going to find them.
Yeah, there's no street lights after like 6 p.m. over there, man.
There's no street lights at all. Like the lane is a dark lane.
I was meant to say there's like no light after 6 p.m.
There's no lane. There's just a lane. You know, what's the word?
Unmarked.
Unmarked trail to their house. You know, they're hidden.
You're hearing every creature of the night in the wilderness.
Yeah.
As you're trying to move, like you don't know what the fuck's going on. And it's funny as well, because it's like, yeah, you go out into the sticks, it gets dark, then it's just like you realize, oh, you're actually out in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's like in the city, people kind of get disconnected because there's street lights, there's roads, there's houses, there'll be shops, there'll be things going on. Bro, you be out in the sticks, then that's a whole different terror. What does it say? Sit down, no. As for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms.
Right, so that's talking about America, okay? Because right now, they're looked at as a Lady of Kingdoms. They're, you know, heralded as, you know, champion of a place that everyone wants to go to. And even right now, as far as when you deal with, what's his name? Like, if you want to get on in life, America probably is the best place to go. So I was watching a lot of videos the other day that been talking about how, you know, nowhere on earth has generated a $100 billion dollar industry in the world. So there's a lot of money to be made over there. There's a lot of opportunity over there. There's so many things you can do. There's an abundance of wealth.
Yeah, I don't even think any other country has a Silicon Valley.
Nah, that was the main thing. They were saying they've made a few multi-billion dollar industries. They said 3 or 4. Whereas no other country's done, you know, match that.
Yeah. Because even Silicon Valley, that's something that they tried to do in China, and I think that whole region they built up has been abandoned, like no one lives there. Then they said they're trying to do it in different parts of Europe. Keir Starmer said he wants to try and do it over here, but then it's like,
Bro, you're taxing everyone's life, man.
bro,
No, you see
no
the
one's
new
gonna,
one?
yeah, no one's gonna come
If
anyway.
you're on 37 packs, you get 40% tax.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a madness. Like how are you gonna really be able to take care of yourself? Even when you touch like 50, what was it, 45 or 50? You had the luxury tax of 40%. Even that was kind of, you gotta really start touching 100 bags, 120 to really throw out them kind of taxes. You know what I mean?
The thing is as well is like a big part of it. People ain't gonna come here for come to these regions for shit. The reason it won't work in China is like drawing international people in because everything's under the CCP. You're basically having to deal with whatever they want to do as far as the operations of your company. They have the billionaires. What was it? Was Jack Ma? That guy that guy disappeared. The Alibaba guy. He was talking shit about Xi Jinping. Then the guy vanished for like a month. Then he came back looking like he'd been in a prison camp. You know, that's the you know, part of why, you know, people are drawn to America. But then again, it's really a matter of blessing. Because America had to be built up as that central hub. And then even with those technologies as well, when you're getting into the MOTV, the B system, and all the framework that needs, that's where, you know, it comes into having that big technological hub. Makes sense. Because if it was split in different places, it wouldn't work. Even before, like Silicon Valley, you had, what was it, like Bell Labs. Bell Labs was like the key.
No. Sorry, my friend, we're recording.
Oh, I didn't realise.
Yeah. Sorry.
Even, yeah, like Bell Labs.
I don't know where
I was like, bro,
it's because like you look to Annie.
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, you're looking. I was like, bro, it's like, what do you think? What do you think's that? But Bell Labs, well, I think they developed mainly off phone technology and lines. Then they built that into a general technological development hub where it used to have various technologies, just all centralized. They own patents to the vast majority of technological industries. So the government had to, there was a whole, what do they call it, the same thing they did with Microsoft, the Senate committee, I think it's called, where they then have to sit down and decide, should we break this company up? Then they broke it up, and they split into multiple different parts. And I think afterwards, AT&T, which now has the monopoly after, was one of those parts that was split off, that was just in charge of the telecom part. So it's these, you know, that kind of centralized technology development, that's been a core part of America for a hot minute. And then what, it feeds into prophecy. Because as far as when you deal with Britain, you know, they're talking about, even with Brexit, a lot of it was about, revitalizing Britain, basically making it have more kind of sway, importance, or strength as far as, you know, globally.
Yeah, like I never.
But then the reality of that is that time's done. It's you know, it's part was meant to be the mother to America, which it did do, followed through on. But then what?
But it was prophesied in Revelation 17 that there'll be, you know, the last one will come, basically America. So that's why it's here for the season. And then it speaks to the agreement of the seven, or the tension, I say, having power like kings all the time. But then they would agree for a season, but then something would happen whereby they would become a disagreement, right? Which would sow the end of America. But the point being is that America did something with that you know, that law, that standard, that, you know, status to give the guys, because that's Babylon agreement, right? Simple as that.
We don't know a bit more. Verse 6, I was rough with my people. I had polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Yeah, that's the pride. The pride to think, what is it, Psalms 49:11, their inward thought is their houses shall continue forever. They really have a belief of, achieving some kind of Star Trek like future. Yeah, where they're going off, they're going to different planets, and they're setting up, okay, we've got, we're establishing this law system, we're dealing with this. Those are the things that the USS Enterprise flying around, colonizing the whole universe. That's really the mindset they have. They really think they're going to be able to accomplish it. Then even the average Joe, if you tell them, oh, you think America's going to be destroyed, they'll probably say maybe like 100 or maybe like 250. But all of a sudden, it's like America's kind of, they're really in the mindset of
Even now, I do when I get somebody
I read that same that does not damage of anything. Says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to me in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. And yeah, that's that great loss. That's something that America, they think that the furthest extent it goes to is 9/11. That's really the greatest kind of, the other one would be like Pearl Harbor, but then that isn't even the mainland. That wouldn't even really count. But 9/11 would kind of be the big tragedy. Because following off on that, then it was basically an American right to be to discriminate against Islam. Then man, you go into, it's funny because it's like you watch like media that was made like shortly after 9/11, like it was considerable amounts of them man were not fucking with Muslims for shit, and that continued for a hot minute. That's why it's like man were invading Iraq, and it's just like, yo, what's Iraq got to do with anything? But then no one gave a fuck because they were like, yo, America's been touched. And that's why they've really got that mindset that they're what? That virgin door, that untouched. And that's why it's a mass level of destruction hitting the whole country. That's something that exists as a disaster movie. That's entertainment. Throughout the 90s, what was the genre you had? Like disaster films. Like Independence Day is the big one, but then you had like Deep Impact. You had even the 1998 Godzilla. You had various movies where it was like there was always be a shot of like some big building getting blown up, like the Chrysler Building or the White House or whatever, and that was seen as entertainment. But then part of it is the pride of they're thinking that there's no way this can go down. This could only be fiction. But then the reality of it is what? That all those things that you think, nah, there's no way. They're all gonna come to pass. America's gonna get tough, man. It's gonna be the missiles that hit and take it out, man. It's gonna get wiped off the planet. Britain had that same pride as well. The British Empire. They really were thinking like, who can touch us? And even go into Daniel as well with Belshazzar. Because for him as well, it was what? Pride. He was thinking like, yo, I'm just gonna use these vessels because shit's going so good. But then he didn't realize there was an end to his rule. The Babylonians were raised up, but then what? There was a hard limit put on how far they were going to go. And that's the same with all these different religions. There's a hard limit. That's why you've even had Trump come in. What's coming is post 2020, you had a complete shift in just in the general atmosphere. The way the economy works, the way military engagements work, all these different things now, everything's been amplified. Even when you compare Trump coming in 2016 or 2017 versus Trump coming in now, it's a shift. This guy came in and then the whole spirit shifted in America, not even in America, globally. In no time flat. The man was in for like a week. It was nothing but executive orders. You're saying, okay, we're shutting down this, we're doing this. No more aid to these guys. Okay, we're ending this encounter. The entire approach to Palestine and Gaza got flipped completely. Trump was just saying like, yo, we'll send them through. Look, we're gonna come in, we're gonna clean it up, we're gonna build it as a Riviera in the Middle East. As a part of what you call it. Man had one meeting with Netanyahu, and then it was like, yo, that place is done, man. Someone needs to come collect these Palestinians, man. Get them out. That's prophecy as well, isn't it?
Where it says about they should battle over that land. It should become a murder stone. So that land over there is cursed. Until the children of Israel go over there, they have no kind of life. It's voting for peace, yeah.
And that's really the key way as well, you know, thinking back to the two biddies. The like you guys are in the land, but then you've got nothing but trouble whilst you're there. It's been in a perpetual state of warfare. That alone should let you know maybe there's something to this. Then you have as well where they're like, oh, you know, it's an old book. Like you guys aren't thinking about prophecy, you're not thinking about the scriptures, you're not about the scriptures. You're just thinking about, oh, I want a house. You're thinking about it as far as a carnal sense. There's no spiritual aspect to them guys that are over there. Because they're not the people, man. It's a good record. So what I'll read Daniel 5. I'll go to the point. So Daniel, say it again, sir? Said it's fucking raining. Yeah. I know it's like thinned out people Daniel 5:5 says, in that same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlesticks upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace, and the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loin were loose, and his knees smote against one another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler of the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar great in trouble, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. So yeah, you had the writing come on the wall. Then he asked for the interpretation, and no one could give it. All those mystics could not give him the answer. And that's something that, for now as well, it's like the understanding of the messages themselves. There's a limited group of people that have an awareness or understanding of that message. When you go to same, yeah. Because even with now you have the elites, they know the scriptures. They know the prophecy. They were able to understand these things in this time. The joke for them, you're not in the shop. Shift it around.
Yeah, just realizing my time. My body's still there. I'm just like mentally fatigued as well as like physically fatigued. Dealing with certain people and certain people.
Yeah. Fucking social aspect. That shit would be more tiring some of the time. But yeah, now the elites, they understand the prophecy, but then the joke with them is they think they're gonna circumvent it or get around it. But then with as far as us, we have true understanding to where we know all this, that we currently see is on borrowed time. It's basically got a role to fulfill up to a point. Even as things are now, that's not just how it's going to continue. You're going to have it's like with what's it called again? Children of Men. I just fucking remember. All these 28 years later. It's kind of funny. No. I think it's a new one. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I see it because there was a contract. It was showing a guy. Everyone was saying was silly and man. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, boom. Like, it's just.
He was skinny as fuck in the first one. To be fair, he was just like.
He's a slim guy anyway.
Yeah, I think it's just he did different roles over time. Now he's like a fucking super A-lister. I think even after like Oppenheimer, he can probably just do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
I think like everyone that can just do whatever they want. So skipping down, skipping down to verse 22, Daniel 5:22 says, and thou his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knowest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives and thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Then was a part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many shekels was fastened. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many. The Most High hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. And yeah, all this writing can apply to the time we're in now. Because why? There's a limit, a stopper, a cap that's been put on this kingdom. You go into Daniel 2 and Daniel 7, it outlines the procession of how the kingdoms are going to be. And then what? All those kingdoms that come before, then what? There's a kingdom of heaven at the end that's basically going to put the rest to it. It's all going to be over. It's going to be a wrap. And the pride really is the core of it is Esau basically trying to supplant that role. And that goes back to Genesis 27, to when he was getting the blessing in the first place. He was, he cried bitterly and said, surely thou hast more than one blessing. Bless me also. But then what's the reality? He's given a blessing, and he was given it for a season. Because you read that as well, in Revelation 20. It will be loose for a little season. But then what? That doesn't then mean this is going to go on forever. They're talking about, going to Mars, colonizing Mars. Like, going to Mars, it'll be done. Whenever they have these post-apocalyptic futures where people go out into space, why is always the Earth's been depleted of resources? The Earth's been destroyed. What was it, Interstellar, where they tilled the ground so much they couldn't even grow any more crops. There was a bunch of crops that were trying to grow, weren't even going to grow. Then they always kind of have where it's like, oh, the Earth's been destitute. Even Total Recall as well. They go to Mars, man are on Mars paying for air. So you don't pay for air, you're fucked. You don't pay for, like, they'll having, it was basically the dream of having people in super slavery. which is really what they're trying to accomplish with the kingdom. It's like, oh, it's, oh, you don't want to breathe? Okay, you all die, we're bringing the next shipment in, and then them man will work and make us our money. And then even with that, the technology was what used for money, merchandise, because they were selling air. But then what did they have? They had the terraforming machine where they could bring an atmosphere, so there wouldn't even be a need to sell air. But then what, you can't monetize it, so it's no good. I read on for the jump. It says what? This is the interpretation. Oh wait, yeah. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, the Most High hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Paris, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. And yeah, even for now, what do you have? You have a kingdom now that's waiting to be divided. The joke is that people are thinking, oh, China's going to be next to the come up. That's been the big thing for like the last 10, 20 years. Where previously, up until like the 90s, they were talking about Japan was going to be the next one to come ahead. Then afterwards, they've been saying China's going to be the one since their industries develop furthest, and because the US relies on China so much. They're basically, a lot of their debt is in China, a lot of production, a lot of ways that their companies can maintain even value and profitability is through is through China. But then what do you have even now? Tariffs, a trade war basically. Well, last time Trump was in, there was a trade war in China, and now that he's coming again, that's come up. It's you know, Europe's catching strays as well in it, but then China's the main focus. And that goes into prophecy as well. But it says what? The kingdom's divided, but then who's it going to be divided to? It's going to be divided unto Israel. Israel is basically going to inherit. That's the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They ain't talking about Netanyahu is going to come in and then be like, okay, he's now the warlord of America. And he's taking, Netanyahu...
They won't much warlording to deal with.
Yeah. That's there's a good quote from what is it? Watchmen? I can't even remember. It's when they're having a meeting, and then the comedian, his thingy was talking. Ozymandias was talking to them, and then the comedian was saying like, oh, you know, well, it's as far as I see, you know, the country's, you know, going to shit. It's like, you know, if you know, you might be the smartest man in the country, but then you're going to be the smartest man over cinders or something like that. And then he sets fire to like the map. And then that's a cold quote. Because really, it's like, as far as the destiny of America, that's where it's going to end up. And then you do have people fighting for the scraps.
It's funny because I had a conversation with someone all the time. It's like, how smart are you if you don't know, if you can't like utilize that? Like, are you really smart if you can't get out of your situation? Like Trump. So it's like, yeah, like people said about Aussie.
Is meant to be the, you know, the wisest,
But he did prove to be the wisest. So
yeah. Because then it's like he switched his strategy.
yeah.
Because that's what, and then he went undercover as well. Because that's the reality as well of these different rulers now. their way of seeing, okay, how we're going to keep it is they're trying to essentially emulate the Most High. You read it? Ezekiel 28. They basically want to basically be the Most High. This is one of the same point. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. Oh, actually, no. I'll start from 2 and 3. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." And yeah, that man of sin needed to be revealed, the son of perdition, which is Esau Edom, the son of destruction, the so-called one. He's basically in that role now where his job is to destroy. We quoted it before, Proverbs 16 and 4. The wicked was made for the day of evil. His job is to bring death and destruction. Words of the red horse, to take peace in the earth. His job is to sow discord. That's why you go into these files being declassified. A lot of what the CIA as well. A lot of files they've had declassified as well. Them going to different nations and how they destabilize them. And basically what they said they were doing it to stop the spread of communism. They were like, okay, we're going to destabilize these guys because they're too friendly with Russia, and then we'll go and set up our own guys. Which is why Cuba's been a thorn in their side for a minute.
But with that should really like open the mind now. Okay, if they represent communism and America represents capitalism, if they're going there to tell you that, oh, we don't want you to accept communism, so they basically saying we want to bring capitalism. So really what they're trying to do is capitalize on you.
Yeah.
You don't realize that
You're the product.
you're the product.
I've been stuck behind all 30.
That's how they're going to capitalize.
And that's really what happens. It's they might think, oh, because even it's like I was talking with a guy at work, like he just kind of talks business and whatnot, and he was saying, I was telling him about going to Ghana, and I said, oh yeah, he was talking about how China had basically been kind of going through Africa and doing the same thing that America did, where they'll get them into debt for like different construction projects and whatnot, and then kind of get them like yoked onto China, basically the Chinese system, through doing it. And that's what America was doing previously, European empires were doing previously as well. And then I was saying, like, even I remember it's like in Ghana, I said, yeah, my name was the Chinese when I went back there. It was like 2008. So they've been like in the fold doing these things for a while. And then what they're emulating off what Esau did. Because why? A big aspect of how he gets there is like, oh, okay, you want aspects of Western society, you want to have, advanced economies and build up McDonald's and cinemas and McDonald's and blah blah blah, and luxury brands. Then okay, take this, we'll build this up, we'll develop an economy here, whatever. And it'll get you in debt. Then you're deep in the pit, for hundreds of millions to the IMF. And then they're just like, oh, after a certain point, then it's realized, oh, you spent this much, but then as far the way wealth works, in reality, there's a limit to how much you can do. You can accumulate. Then a lot of it has already been approved in the Western world. You go to out here, the reason you can come here and you get the reason a lot of products are cheap here in like the UK and the US is because why? It's offset the cost elsewhere. Someone's working for like $5 an hour to construct something rather than paying them the minimum wage in the UK. Some things are being sold in bulk. One person owns the entire chain of like every process of how the product moves, so they can minimize the cost rather than you, where you got to pay this guy for this guy for this, that guy for this guy to put it together, that guy to deliver it, and then you're like you can't even like make it happen. You can't even compete. But I'll read on. It says, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And that's what the desire of these elites. These guys already have more wealth than they could ever spend or utilize in their lifetimes. They already have more goods, more land, more houses, more capability to do things in the world than they could ever need. But then what they really want is for that to never end. They want it to be cemented so that that's something that they can never lose. But then, you know, what's the reality of it is that's, you know, you're completely deluded. We're trying to be like the Most High. Yeah, Isaiah 55 and 8 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." So you got Esau trying to essentially be like the Most High, to try and function and operate as the Most High does, to have that same level of control and understanding on this side. But then what's the reality of it is what? You can't even get onto the level of the Most High. What you're trying to accomplish is something that is impossible. No matter what you attempt, you're going to fail. But then the key part is your job is to aspire towards and desire it. That's essentially you walking off the plank. You're walking off the plank and you're about to drop into a shark-infested, Leviathan-infested ocean. That even explains why everyone's so invested within the system. Because you need everyone else essentially thinking like, this is the only option. That goes into the what you call it, Eurocentrist worldview we were discussing before, where what they're kind of, you know, you have people that come there, they have an expectation of this being like super advanced, like everything's you know, just operates on the highest, greatest level when they get there.
I mean, it does comparison.
Oh yeah,
to them. But then they miss the nuance of it all.
Because you're gonna come there, they ain't gonna like it. You know, you ain't gonna be loved, you're gonna be welcomed with wide open arms, you know, sharing it. And just because shit doesn't operate like that, doesn't mean you're gonna get a slice of the pie either. Because that's really the key part. That's a joke. It's like people see millionaires, multi-millionaires and whatnot. They see people living those affluent lifestyles. They don't realize the majority of people are going to be average fucking jokes. That's the vast majority of people are going to be just about getting by. And that's the reality of how these things need to function. Because again, yeah, that's what I was going to say. With, you know, the allure of, you know, different nations of Africa being like, oh, you can build yourselves up to just be like the West. There's a cap, there's a limit. Because even with what the Saudis, they're all trying to convert that the petrodollar, the oil money, that's the word, the oil money into different industries. They're trying to build their own what the fuck is the word? Silicon Valley or whatever economy. Yeah, they're trying to build a broader economy where it's not just restricted to oil money. But then the reality of it is like the bedrock of them being able to do anything is oil, and then the bedrock of that is really from the US. Because that's the thing is as soon as the US starts flooding the market with barrels, they're going to be in shambles. And you've had like different crises before where these things have happened, then their economy gets fucked. They can't even survive. back in 2 Thessalonians 2. So 2 Thessalonians 2 and 5 says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And yeah, the mystery of iniquity was already working that time. You had the Romans. And that was what? The beast at that time. Then it said what? It had the deadly wound. Then the deadly wound was healed. And it rose back up. And that's why you have a continuation of what the same structure and system is. That's why you have a Senate. That's why you have the same draconian approach. That's why you have the military focus as well. Because really that goes back to what Esau's blessing, the sword. Through military might, that was how he was going to get himself a kingdom. It says what? And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. With the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, and with all power and signs and lying wonders. And that's another big aspect of how Esau can function as well. Those miracles, those lying wonders, that's a big part of what has people so drawn into and invested within this this system. They see like, damn, this guy's got, this guy's got 5G, this guy's got smartphones, this guy's got different, different kinds of advanced technologies. This guy's got a high-class economy. This guy's got so many ways and methods for you to develop. Where they just come from the village, where there's like one school, man. Them that live is truly the third world out there. But then obviously they don't understand that there's even parts of the US where it's essentially the third world. Even out here as well, man. Remember there was that documentary talking about in Liverpool, the prostitute was getting like selling bots for like £4. She's just a complete mess, bro. Obviously she was a smackhead, but it was just like, and they're fucking them proper crack dens, man. That's what man called funny as well, because even with the drugs thing as well, that again is shows the money. Well, money is really the core of everything. Because why for you to destroy your own huge cuts in your own civilization, of your own subjects within your system with drugs because there's money in it, it's ridiculous. Because obviously it's something that the thing with like drugs as well is it was weaponized. It was used as a weapon, so they know that it's a long-term impact. But then what? It's like if there's money in it, then fuck it, why not? And that's like a lot of things. It says what power, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all the deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. For this cause, the Most High shall cause them, shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. And yeah, there's been heavy delusion sent in various forms. You have the key one where people are going to be completely invested within the system, but then there'll be people where they might even know they're Israelite and they still have delusion sent to them. There'll be people, they might not even be in America and they've got some legendary delusions being sent to them as far as what they're putting energy and their mind into.
Guys, just a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's just that rules.
Like, bro, you just like.
Oh, well, it's time close to me, really.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm like, bro. It's like.
It looks like he's exposing through it.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking.
what it looks like.
It's kind of. Yeah. But you could really go into the corner and have some privacy. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. That's funny as well now, because the scoffing element, a lot of that's gone into the wind. Because as far as with these prophecies, now it's to a point where you can't even really deny anything. Those delusions that people believe in is really been shown to be a delusion. Even with what you put, it's like it's funny. People are talking about. I think the promise that Trump made on the campaign trail was that the price of eggs will go back to normal or whatever. But then they said it's like it's looking to inflate more after the tariffs, and that's more likely than not what's going to happen. Because with what the hell is it called? With the economy, it's very clear. It's basically running on steam. It's on borrowed time.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing they're trying to do is even with those. They were saying they'll cut they were trying to cut 2 trillion from government spending, and then that will, because there's a 2 trillion deficit. And that's like a lot of like the different government programs being cut where they're doing it. But then, even if they were to cut 2 trillion, the economy's still going to be fucked. So saying like Elon had a speech saying like, if we cut the 2 trillion, then there'll be no inflation. I'm like, bro, there's going to be inflation, and it's all kind of global factors to implicate that. Even if the war in Ukraine stops, even if you get peace, an extended peace in the Middle East, there's as far as the state of how things is, it can't go back to how it was previously. Because it's like what happened with post-pandemic. It's become a new normal. There's things now that are just normal aspects. They've just been baked into society. People don't really think about it. I read this, 2 Peter 3 says what? Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. And yeah, with as far as you have those scoffers. I remember going back like in the 2011, 2012, 2013, you had like super regular characters that will pop up on every comment board, in every video, committedly talking shit for months to years on end. You'll see their account on every video, their account was there talking smack. But then now it's you don't have that same commitment to that scoffing going on. That's why some of these guys would have been taken the fuck out. And another aspect is because now it's like you can't really scoff against it. When you mentioned World War III, that's you ask an average person on the street, so how likely do you think is World War III? You go back 10, 15 years, people will probably be like, nah, it's not gonna happen.
But now that's what they're talking about. Yeah, a couple of months ago, you had the head of UK military basically saying that we're 3 years away from World War III. So speaking to basically people ready in their mind to go to war. And that's prophesied in the Bible as well. These are things that are prophetic.
Like entry level.
Says what? Infinite 7 or
Yeah, like public scripture.
way thicker than yeah, because it's just sitting there like what did it say? So second so verse 4, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. And yeah, you know, if you're saying that you lack understanding, if you go to Matthew 24, then it says, well, as in the days of Noah what? You know, eating and drinking, you know, getting married as well, and feasting what? Right until the gate, right until the door of the ark closed. And then what? They didn't hit. So they were able to enjoy themselves right up until the last moment. And it's going to be the same thing here. You're going to have people getting jacked up. You're going to have people getting, you know, where they'll take the mark, then they end up getting the cancer, getting fucked up in the flesh. But then you also have people where they'll be able to continue just doing things as they have been, you know, going to work, partying, getting some pussy, whatever. These are things they're just going to be able to do still. But then what's the fullness of it going to be? Right, that's only up to a point. Because for this, they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that there was being overflowed with water perished. The heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So yeah, you had first death, which is by fire. Sorry, by war. And you know, that went down in the time of Noah, where what? The wickedness overflowed on the earth, so water had to be used to cleanse it. And then it was what, 8 souls that were saved out of it. But then now you have one that's going to be done by fire, but not on the same scale. It's not going to be to where only 8 souls are saved. But, you know, America's going to be absolutely blazed, and various other places as well are going to catch hits as well. And that's what the perdition, destruction of ungodly men. It's the same reason. As far as you have now, ungodliness has overtaken the whole life. When you deal with what Esau promotes, he's doing everything in his power to promote us against ungodly. And everyone's now vibing with it at one with it. Because why? Essentially, to replace wickedness with righteousness. But then that even more fills his faith. Because why? The judgment's been set. When it was Nineveh, they were prophesied against. Then what? They changed, and it was put off until later on when they sinned again. But then what's with Esau? You've had the scourge is sent for amendment, but then he's not made the amendments. Close on that. Otherwise, So yeah, I'll leave it there. Lord willing, see us next week. Yeah. Say praise to you.
Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem our prophet, Dash, double understand those.
Lord, the apostles, the great son of the world. Shalom.
I just fucking realized that.